Hi guys, welcome to a new Instagram live episode. Today the live is a little bit later because of the time difference with my guest. But the guest of today is Rahul Rai, and Rahul Rai has such a long acting sheet that if I would try to list it all, we will be sitting here for quite some time. But you may also know him as the TikTok sensation he is. And today we're going to talk about his TikToks, his career, and how he became TikTok famous. So if you haven't seen his page already, you should check it out after this live because his videos are so hilarious. And yeah, if you want to become TikTok famous or something, just keep on watching because his content is really amazing and maybe you will learn something. Hi,
Hi, how
how
are you?
are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, nice. Your
Right.
day just started, right?
My day, yeah, it's 11 a.m. here in LA.
So what's your day today? What are you going to do today?
I'm actually in the middle of TikToking right now.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
Can you
I,
tell us
I
more?
am, my whole day revolves around TikTok, basically for the presumable future
Mm-hmm. And
until,
don't you ever get bored because like you're being creative, but sometimes like doesn't it give you some pressure?
yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I could take a break, but I just,
You have
for some
momentum. You
reason,
shouldn't take a break at the moment.
yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. So I don't want to take a break, but I mean, it's nice to just create content and have all the time in the world to do it and dedicate to it. And
Yeah,
I don't know, people seem to like it, so
for
I'm,
sure.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Because in my introduction, I also talked about your long acting sheet, and I couldn't list it all. But
Yeah,
what made you become an actor? Because I did some research, and you first were a dancer. So how did this all
yeah.
start?
I was a dancer. I mean, I still dance, but I was.
Mhm. I see that on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how it started. It was kind of a happy accident.
Hmm.
I was dancing with a troupe um, back in New York. This was around like 2008.
Hmm.
And we had a show, and a director happened to come to the show, watch me dance, and then he came backstage and asked me to audition for a film that he was making. So that was when I was 18. So that was 11 years ago. So
Hmm.
after doing that film, I figured this is what I kind of want to do with my life, is
Yeah.
act.
Okay. Because your like story is like I think something all actors and actors want that they just get discovered because a lot.
Yeah, yeah, but
But
it's interesting because like I did the film and I was completely green and I had no idea anything about the industry, nothing about
Mhm.
acting, no training, no nothing. So it's interesting. I got like kind of a glimpse of what it could be, but also a reality check of like, okay, you do it, and then it doesn't mean that everything just kind of works out afterwards. You
Yeah.
still have to, there's still a lot to learn. There's still a whole business to learn.
Hmm.
I used to think that every movie that got made would get seen, and that's not how it works,
No, true. Yeah.
you know. So it's interesting. Like it was a great break. It sort of gave me a lot of direction in my life,
Hmm.
and but uh, but since then it's just been a lot of hard work, a lot of, and I'm still figuring it out.
Hmm.
You never stop trying to figure it out.
No, I think that's also a good thing because if you would just like figure it out after one thing, then like life's done.
Yeah.
But you also now showcase your talent on TikTok. What made you
Yeah.
jump on that platform? And did you expect it to become such a big thing?
No, I did not expect it to become a big thing. That also happened. I think some of the most profound things that have ever happened to me in life have just been happy accidents. So a
Hmm.
friend of
With
mine
a
said
lot
I
of
should,
hard work because I don't believe that everything is just because
yeah,
it happened.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm attracting opportunities. I have no idea. I'm just kind of riding the wave and I'm not complaining and just going with it. But a friend of mine, he recommended that I go on TikTok.
Hmm.
And so I just downloaded it back in like October of last year.
That long.
Yeah, so I guess it's been almost 6 months now.
Hmm.
More than 6 months. But it wasn't until like January, it wasn't until like end of December, January that I took it like really seriously, and then I started gaining some momentum, and then I was like, yeah, let's just go all out. for as long as this thing can last.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. But it was not like what you said. It wasn't like a planned thing. Like, okay, I'm going to do this now. Okay, nice. But
Social media was very foreign to me.
yeah,
I had a lot of, it's only
I tried
recently
to
that
Google you also. So I thought maybe his private things are like on another name because I couldn't find a lot.
yes, yeah, I didn't really get involved with social media aggressively until last year. And
Mm-hmm.
it's only at the end, it's only like this year that things are kind of happening. But I had to get over a lot of, I don't know, judgment and about social media,
Yeah.
and like find my own voice on it and find my own way of creating content and then being consistent with it. And I mean, TikTok was kind of like, it's kind of my favorite. It is my favorite platform because it has everything there that I can do in the app. I can edit things. I don't have to go outside of the app and then repost and then blah, blah, blah.
It's
It's
just
very
easier.
convenient.
Yeah.
I'm a very lazy person. So for
You wouldn't
me,
say
like the
because you make a
convenience,
lot of videos, so you wouldn't say that you're.
I
But
know.
but do you think being an actor gives you like an advantage of being creative on a platform as TikTok because you make a lot of videos, so you have to say.
Yeah. I would say the acting training has helped in terms of understanding, I don't know, like, so for like lip syncing stuff and like acting stuff that I
I don't
do.
know how you do that. Like those
Yeah.
cuts are so fast. I'm like, how the fuck does he
Yeah.
do all of
So,
that?
so I think the acting training helps for that because you understand maybe not to do too much or to just go for something. The training helps in that respect. But you know, I guess like also like with lip syncing as a dancer, I did a lot of Bollywood dance, so lip syncing is huge. It's like
Yeah,
part of the choreography, you know. It's like
yeah,
another
yeah.
set of
Expression is so
choreography.
important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that I think that also helped. That coupled with my acting training helps a lot for the lip syncing stuff.
Okay, okay. And now that we're talking about creativity, you post a lot of videos a day. So is it not hard to keep like creating content every single day? And how do you keep it like
Yeah.
entertaining?
Yeah, it's interesting. I put out uh I mean now I've probably grown it to like 15 to 18 pieces a day.
I see that, yeah.
So
If I miss one day or 2 days, I have to scroll. I'm like, where were we?
yeah, yeah. But I think that's how TikTok kind of works right
Yeah,
now, from what I understand. It's like high volume, quality content, high volume.
yeah,
But it, you know, I think that's kind of the challenge is how do I keep creating content? I think as long as, I don't know, as long as other people are creating and you kind of feed off of other people's content and say, okay, I can do some of that, but add this part and then there's this lip syncing stuff that I can do. Okay, then there's original content that I can do. Okay, then there's dance content that I can do. Okay, and then there's actually me responding to comments from my followers. So that's other forms of content. So it
do you
all
write
kind of adds
things
up.
do you write those things down? Because I saw a board in your, like, I feel like a
Yeah.
stalker at the moment, but because of your
Oh no,
videos, I
you
saw
can see the
that.
board. I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that whiteboard right
I
there.
saw
Yeah, yeah.
that.
I have some ideas there, but mostly where the ideas come from is just from me consuming on the app as a consumer,
Yeah.
and then just saving audio files and being like, okay, I could probably use that, I could use that, I could use that. And then tomorrow or the you know or the day after, I just wake up and like, all right, let's figure this out.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So that's how your creative process
Yeah.
looks like. But what is challenging about bringing a script to life? Because like you can have an idea, but how
Yeah.
can you like make it like entertaining on screen?
I think it's just like, I don't know. I think wardrobe helps.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just gotta make it enjoyable for you. So whatever makes me laugh, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And hopefully other people relate to it. But I'm not gonna lie, I laugh at the stuff that I do because it's just enjoyable for me. And it's also just so it's so stupid. Like the stuff that I do is so dumb, but I love it because
Yeah, you can laugh about yourself. It's not that you have like any, I don't want to say any shame because that sounds bad, but
yeah,
like
I mean, my
you can,
shamelessness is definitely growing
yeah,
for
for sure.
sure since being on this app.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I just think it's about like just going after. So again, that's where the acting training kind of takes over. Is like you just go for stuff and then you figure it out later. You deal with the consequences later.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Okay. And to be honest, like I'm 25 years old and I feel like a freaking dinosaurs on TikTok. So I tried it, but I just cannot figure it out. And it
Yeah.
takes like I think too much about it. But that's not my it's not my career. That's your career. But did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ever felt like that, or were you just focused on making entertaining content?
Did I ever feel like self-conscious in a way? Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking?
So also because the how do you say that the demographic on TikTok is much younger than on, but you never were on social media, so maybe you don't have that comparison.
Yeah, I didn't. The whole technical side of things I sometimes ignore.
That's
I'm
bad.
more of a learn by doing and just do kind of a person. So like if there's an instruction manual with something, I'm probably not gonna read it.
Mm.
You know what I
How do you
mean?
build like the things in your house? You never
Yeah,
use
so
like
okay,
the
so when I
piano.
build stuff, I will.
Oh,
If I get like IKEA furniture. But like with creative stuff, I tend to just do first and then kind of figure out later. Um,
mm-hmm.
that's just how I do it. I don't know, that's just what I enjoy doing is jumping first and then we'll figure out how to open the parachute while we're in free fall.
Okay, that I think that's also a good way to do that because otherwise you think too much about everything you do. But
Yeah.
let's play a little game because if you could, I know you watch like I think like Hollywood movies, but also Bollywood movies. I think I don't know.
A little bit.
So,
It's been a
so
while.
okay, so you can choose yourself. But
That's fine.
if you could choose like five actors, which
Mhm.
actor would it be, and which movie would you be a part in? Like which would you like want to replace?
Oh man. I would first have to go with Marlon Brando,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite actor. He's just
Mm-hmm.
an interesting guy. Uh, like
Which
to act
movie?
with him would have was that?
Oh, you should replace them, but we can also do that if you like that better.
Oh, to replace him in a movie.
Mm.
Oh.
Which movie would it be, and why?
Whoa. And why? Oh man. Man, replace any of these? That's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, well, okay, let's just go with it. So Marlon Brando,
Mm-hmm.
I would replace. I don't know. In like, he did a movie called A Streetcar Named Desire,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really great play by Tennessee Williams. So that's a part that I've always been really interested in. It's a very raw, violent, sexual, primal, angry, but like vulnerable part that would be
Mm-hmm.
really interesting to tackle as an actor. I think like um, anything like I'm very interested in actors that like do a lot of character driven stuff and do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
so like people like Johnny Depp, people like Christian Bale, people like Joaquin Phoenix, people like Heath Ledger, people like I mean if you go back like Al Pacino, I'm a huge Al Pacino fan.
Yeah.
So like any of those actors to be in certain roles that they've done, like Christian Bale in The Machinist, if you've ever watched, it's a very obscure movie, or like Michael
That's it.
Fassbender in Shame.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, these are roles that they're very like dark and dramatic, but I don't know, I think,
It's not an easy part to try.
yeah, so stuff like that is very interesting to me. And it's a nice kind of opposite to what you see me do on social media and TikTok, which is very
Mm-hmm.
comedically driven and very, just, I don't know, dumb stuff.
It's not dumb. It's like really
But it's like
entertaining.
dumb humor, but I like it, but it's funny. But
Yeah.
like to kind of juxtapose that with more dramatic, serious depth kind of work, that I think that's an interesting place to go. So I think like actors like Jim Carrey are very interesting. Steve Carell, people who can do both sides of the spectrum of acting. I think those
Yeah.
are the most interesting people to me.
Okay, okay. And what tips do you have for people that want to start acting? If that's on the big screen or on social media, do you have any tips?
I think find a place where you can train week in and week out. So that
Mhm.
way, at least you have a place to go and act and work, even if you're not able to work in the real world, because that's a very volatile place. But if you have something that you can consistently do week in and week out and have a studio and a great community of not just actors, but teachers and educators, that helps a lot.
Okay, okay. And how much do you think that work can be learned to be an actor and a little bit like talent? So what is more important, or is it like a
Oh,
combination?
I think, I don't know, talent is a really interesting thing. I sometimes debate in my mind whether it actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it does, but the people that I look up to, whether they're athletes or just people in my family or other actors, like they're very hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
They have almost like an obsessive mind about the thing that they're after. So I think that takes over after a while, and then that's what props them up to higher and higher levels. So I think an obsessive work ethic, I think that's why it's really important if you're going to do something, you should have some sort of passion or something that's deeper than just materialism and like money and fame or whatever it is you're after. I think if you're driven by something that's deeper, you can at least sustain yourself in the process of getting better in that thing. And that's
Yeah.
going to count more towards your progress than any sort of like having the right credits, having the right this, having the right that. It's all just you against yourself day in and day out. I think that's very important.
Okay, okay. And what advice would, because this is like a little bit advice that you gave the viewers, but what advice would you give your younger self?
Get on social media sooner.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, yeah, if I could do whatever I'm doing now, just 3 years, 4 years before, it would have been great. But I mean, can't
Yeah.
really, but I would
TikTok
say,
wasn't really a thing then.
yeah, embrace technology and embrace social media as soon as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you realize it because you do a lot of lip syncing on TikTok, but like we only hear your voice when you like read a comment. So
I know.
sometimes I'm like when I was writing the questions, I was like, what is this like voice like? So I was like scrolling back and I was like, do people even realize that's not his voice? Like because you
Yeah.
post so much. But
Even when I read comments, people are like, "Is that your real voice, or is that So it's funny.
yeah, because like you said you're not really on social media. Like I think you're a private person if we compare to other people on social media. What
Yeah.
are some things a lot of people don't know about you?
What are some things that they don't know about me?
Mm-hmm. That you want to share, of course.
Um, I talk to myself a lot. I spend a lot of time by myself. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that comes across in my content because I'm so
No,
weird.
no.
But
You're not
you know what
antisocial.
it is? I'm actually, despite what you see on the content, I'm very much an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to spend time kind of to myself. I can. So like this whole COVID thing that's in self quarantine thing.
I'm not feeling anything. Like this is
Right.
not.
So I mean,
Yeah.
after a while, it gets a little much. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's not as much of a change for me because I'm very comfortable being in my own company, and I'm very comfortable kind of being alone. I'm a bit of a loner by
Mm-hmm.
nature, and
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it gives me room to maneuver. It gives me room to be flexible. I don't have as many obligations like socially. I don't have to go to this. I don't have to go. I can just focus solely on the work that I want to do, which right now is TikTok, and then eventually, other stuff. But I'm a very Yeah, I like my space. I really like my space.
Okay, okay, nice.
Yeah.
And we have like a not like a little game because I want to
Yeah.
get to know you better. So I will start a sentence and you have to finish it. Yeah.
All right.
So
All
don't
right.
think too much about it. But
Okay.
the first one is I would love to work with, and then on the big screen with,
Joaquin Phoenix.
and why?
Because I think we would get along creatively.
Okay, nice. The next one is TikTok related. I would love to collab with, just like a TikTok person. Or you don't have.
Trevor Wallace.
Okay, nice one.
Yeah.
And my favorite TikTok I posted is.
Oh, I did The Greatest Showman. I did like a weird kind of music video thing with like candles, and I just really like the lighting of it.
Okay, because also your videos, like it's not like one shot. You have like a lot of different
Right.
shots. Isn't that
I,
really difficult?
yeah, I like anytime that I'm able to like use lighting and editing in a 60-second clip, and it works, and like it it feels as cinematic as it could possibly feel on a social media platform in a 60-second with no budget, with no nothing. Those are the stuff that I'm actually quite proud of.
Yeah. Okay. And if I could be part of a remake movie, it would be.
American Psycho, if they remake it.
Okay. Okay. And in 5 years, I wish I will be.
In 5 years, I wish I will be. I wish I will be just as obsessively disciplined about what I'm obsessively disciplined right now.
Okay.
I just hope I'm doing the same stuff now, then, but just at a higher level.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about your merch, because how did that like come together? Because like I also plug it. I also saw a video about new colors. So can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So it was just kind of like, how do I'm always looking to like learn stuff. I'm not like I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. I don't know anything about those kind of like owning something and then figuring out how to market it and sell it. So I just thought those were useful skills to learn that I've always wanted to learn. And like you can't really learn them by reading about them. It's only to some extent. You have to go and do them, which means you have to go out and take the risk, which means you have to put yourself on the line, and you have to figure it out in public. And that's a very scary thing for me, just because you get a little, it's your ego that starts to act up and like tries to protect you, and it's like, no, let's just go for it. So I was just looking for interesting things to do along those lines, using the attention that I now somewhat have and the brand that I somewhat have. And I thought, okay, I love The Office, let's figure something out with that. And then it went through iterations in my head, and then I realized that, people like my Office content, and they bestowed me the title of CEO of Michael Scott Lip Syncing. So I figured, okay, that's a start. What kind of image do we use? Okay, well, I'd love to use Michael Scott, but that probably won't work because, right, like it says maybe it's a copyrighted image, okay, but it's also my brand, so I should probably use my face. And then how do I want to design it? Oh, this Obama thing is pretty cool. Let's do that. Hope, CEO. So it kind of like, that's my creative, like, and that all happens like before I go to sleep. Like I do my best thinking, I think, like in the shower and before I go to bed. It's like where the most creative stuff happens for me. So then it became, okay, so that's the first step. We have the concept. I know exactly what I want. Then we got to get someone to design it. Okay, so then that's the next step. We found someone to design it. And then now we have to like sell it. So now it becomes, that's the next game, and that's the game I'm currently in, is how do I market it, sell it such that people are entertained when they watch content that promotes it, and also hopefully it doesn't come across as just like, hey, buy my stuff. It's also so now you get into the world of,
behind it also.
yeah, so now you get into the world of advertising. And like if you watch advertisements for like Geico or like Pepsi or anything, like usually the creative content has nothing to do with the actual product, but the creative content can still sell the product. So like Geico commercials have nothing to do with insurance.
No.
But they sell insurance, and they create a brand that is entertaining for an insurance product, which sounds like that's crazy, but it's on the, but like when you think of insurance, at least in our country, I don't know if Geico is worldwide, but in our, Geico is it's on the tip of everybody, or like even other insurance. So it's like, okay, so let's figure that out. So let's figure out how to create content that's still valuable and entertaining and maybe humorous, but let's try and sell a product and see if people will buy it. So, and then it's like, okay, how else can we sell the product? Well, people love, like most of my audience is women. So like they want to see me in the women's cuts of shirts. Okay, so then it's like, okay, fine, I'll wear the women's cuts. You know, so it becomes this interesting relationship between myself and my audience. And I've actually been able, through the merch, I've been able to actually, I hope, deepen my connection with my audience, because I'm able to see what they're reacting to and what they want, and then we can feed that, and then I can also provide hopefully humorous content on top of that. So we just layer this thing, and then eventually, who knows, like it becomes some form of a side business that you're always constantly in the process of learning. So in terms of like, so this is the first iteration of merchandise. The next iteration will be other characters that I play. So now I can start designing stuff like that.
Things on mind or on sketch?
I'm working on stuff.
Will we see a Cardi B version of yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Cardi B towel. Since I wear a lot of towels, so like a Cardi B towel, a Cardi B, like a Kardashian towel maybe. I'd love to do something like where you have where I have a shirt of all my characters interacting with each other, which I think would be really interesting. So like for me, it's also about selling merch that I actually would buy, but I'm actually like very passionate about. So that way I can at least give it my best shot to sell it in a way. Because I think if you're not passionate,
Sorry?
I guess like if you're not passionate about what you're selling, whether it's your own talents or your own merch or your own skills or just you basically, I think it's very hard to then be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, you can act for so long.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting to see how your mind works, because like I don't think like if you haven't explained it, I know you explained it also on TikTok, but if you wouldn't have explained it, maybe people wouldn't know like where does this idea come from. So that's really interesting. Also, like you make a lot of TikTok videos every day, but what are some things you do besides that to like relax? Because now we're in quarantine, so we cannot really go outside. So what are some things you do to like relax, have fun?
Well, I will admit, like relaxing is a bit of a challenge for me, for how my mind works. But I like to read. I'm very passionate about financial literacy, so getting people educated about money and learning how to manage their money and invest it and build their credit and use debt smartly, and the whole debate of college, whether it's worth it, and finding passion and all this. So like financial literacy is another side, I don't know, passion of mine that I also pursue, that I also create content for. So I enjoy reading about investing.
Okay. That's also, I think, like a thing that not a lot of people would know about you.
Yeah,
So, okay, that's
it's a very fascinating subject to me.
I think it's really difficult. Like it's so much information.
Yes, there
Yeah.
is a lot of information. It is very overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not beyond anyone's level of comprehension. As long as you know how to read, and
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have some basic math skills, but even then,
Yeah.
nothing complicated. But that I think that's the biggest um, myth, is that you have to be this genius to manage your money, and you have to be able to predict the future, which you don't. There's actually other methodologies and stuff like that, and it's a language. So once you learn the language,
Mm-hmm.
you can
You
start
are.
really taking more ownership.
Okay, okay. And can we expect some like upcoming projects? I know a lot of us are staying at home now, but like, are there some things in the works?
Right now, no. Well, there's always stuff in the works. It's a question of when it will happen and how long it will take to make it happen. And the thing about like um, making content out there, and like for films and TV projects, there's a lot of moving pieces, and it becomes very, very difficult to sometimes coordinate them and time them correctly. So there's always people that I want to collaborate with, and people that want to work with me, and we have ideas that we're trying to pursue, or they're trying to pursue, and money's always a problem, getting the money, getting the right people. And so in due time, I think things will work out, but I think for right now, it's just TikTok.
Okay, okay. We are almost at the end, but do you have like a number one tip for people that wanted to be, I hate the word, but TikTok famous?
TikTok famous?
Yeah.
Yeah, just create quality content at high volume.
Okay.
Now, quality content
Number one.
I think it's number one, but I think there's a way to figure it out just by doing. Just throw things against the wall and just post, and then
Don't
I
try to
honestly,
make it perfect.
yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, I'm just doing it on my phone, so it doesn't have to be high production value. I just think, I don't know, don't censor any of your ideas as long as you don't break the guidelines of the platform, like the TikTok rules.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't toss any of your ideas out if you've shot them. Just put them out and see what happens, and then you'll get information, and then from there you refine, and then it becomes this just never-ending process.
Okay, okay. And before we end this interview, what is your personal mantra you live by?
And self-discipline and self-awareness are the two principles I live by. So that's all: self-discipline, self-awareness, and patience.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all that information. I know I'm not going to be on TikTok, but I hope a lot of people. I'm on TikTok, but just watching, but not like creating, because I really don't get the platform. I really don't like, but that's maybe for another time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
have a
you.
lovely day. I will check out like later tomorrow, like which new TikTok videos you have posted.
Oh yeah, there will be a lot.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye. Take care.